Python is a scripting language that allows you to build sites, solve math problems, create crazy games, and even produce an artificial life form. In order to use it, download it from python.org and install it on your computer. After installing Python, just open your notepad and write print hello world and save it to MainPy. Now run it from console using python 3 main.py. Well, the hard part is done. Now for the easy one. Despite the language, programming comes back to taking information, shaking it, baking it until done, and exploding to the end user. The information is divided in these kind of groups. Basically nothing, numbers like integers or floats, strings that contains text, obscure versions of yes and no, lists that you can change, lists that you can't change, lists that don't repeat values, and lists with names. To remember information, you must assign it to a variable. The data can be received from different places, but will stick to the monkey input. Once you've got your information, you can twist it, flip it, pop it, and pull it. You still following? Repeating the same step over and over and over again may be tedious, so we can create the functions to do it for us. Here we've got a function that is called allow to drink, which checks if a person is over the age of 18 or has a parent that's pretty wealthy. Notice something new? Right, conditions. Your code will always have some sort of conditions, so remember how to do it properly. Actually, in Python, everything is an object, including numbers, strings, and nothingness. So, what are objects? You notice how we had the same structure for people and function that works with them? Well, we can take them out and put in one place and basically create a group of variables and functions related to each other. Here we have a class that contains familiar variables from before and a function that works with them. The next basic thing to do is to read and write to a file, which you can do by using function open and methods write and close. What is with, you say? Well, if you have a situation where you need to do a thing before and after shit happens, despite the result, you may want to use Context Manager. It basically does thing, then lets you do whatever you want, and then does another thing. Notice add Context Manager? It's like a function for a function, called decorator. It updates the function with another function and maybe approach this Context Manager itself. Here we have a decorator that prints a function was called before executing function, then executing function and returning value, and printing end of calling function. The new structure here is try except else finally. It is a wrapper that can handle situations when some sort of error occurs or may occur. Try block contains the code that you want to execute. Except block contains the code that you want to execute if error occurs. Else block if error didn't occur. And finally, whenever, despite the fact that it occurred or not. Combining all these things together may result in a bit of a mess. So, to keep our project simple and clean, we can divide it to a small chunks of code and put in other Py files, which are called modules. A folder of modules is called package, and you can install packages from outer space that is called PB. But these packages may have different versions and dependencies which can overlap if you have more than a single project on your computer. So, to separate installed packages, we've got a virtual environment. You can create it using command python 3-m venv.venv. After creating virtual environment, get inside of it using command source.venv/bin/activate. To get out of virtual environment, just use deactivate command. May the force be with you.